Now we're going to be speaking to Voice of America senior correspondent Carolyn Presutti. Carolyn, thank you very much for joining us. We just want to know, in terms of the voter turnout and what's happening, what's the latest?
Well, the turnout was huge for this election, and it still continues to be huge, especially that early turnout. We had more than 100 million votes that were cast with absentee ballots, mail-in ballots, or people going early to their polling places to vote. And then, of course, we had massive numbers coming out today. So everyone thoroughly expects that the end numbers will shatter all records from previous presidential elections. You asked me what's going on now. Let me tell you where I am. I'm actually standing in an enormous parking lot in Wilmington, Delaware. Now, that's where Democrat Joe Biden lives. So he is coming to this location. If you can see the stage behind me, there's an enormous stage, lots of red, white, and blue lights that light up the entire side of that building. There are red, white, and blue cones in the parking lot, and those mark the different spots where individual cars will be pulling in the parking lot. So it's kind of like a drive-in visit to see Joe Biden tonight, in which case he will thank a lot of his supporters, a lot of his campaign workers. So he will be coming out on that stage. Whether it's an acceptance speech or a concession speech, we don't know. Or maybe it could be a speech that says, hey guys, see you tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll have a winner by then. We don't know. Or maybe next week. As you know, we had so many of those early votes that this election could take a while to be decided. The states that you've been mentioning, a lot of them that have already been called were expected for either President Trump or Joe Biden. We haven't had any surprises yet. So the night is young, as they say, and we'll just have to stay tuned.
Carolyn, another question quickly, in terms of the people's response to the posturing from the various candidates. We know that Donald Trump has been, throwing a lot of cheap shots, some analysts have been saying, versus Joe Biden's approach to how he has been campaigning. What are the people there saying?
Here it's Delaware, and it's total Biden country. And as you know, Delaware has already been called for the Democrat Joe Biden. So it's no surprise that the entire state went for Joe Biden. He certainly represented this state as a senator for many years, 40-some years, at the U.S. Capitol. But beyond that, let me just tell you what happened with the two candidates today, which I think is very indicative. Joe Biden went back to his house where he grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and he walked in that house and he wrote something on the wall, and it said, let me try and find the quote for you. It said, "From this house to the White House with the grace of God." He signed his name. He put the date underneath it. President Trump went to greet his campaign supporters, his campaign volunteers in Arlington, Virginia, Northern Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C. It was the only trip he made today. Otherwise, he was in the White House. He thanked all his supporters. You could tell he was tired. This has been a long campaign, but he was very honest. And he said, winning is easy. Losing is never easy. At least for me, it isn't. So, he was very honest, came from the heart. Both of them, I think they're kind of looking back on this campaign and thinking, well, there's nothing more I can do except to sit at home with my family and watch the results roll in, which is exactly what Joe Biden is doing. About 6 minutes away from here is his house, and that's exactly what the president is doing at the White House. But later tonight at the White House, the president will be greeting about 200 supporters in the East Room to thank them.
All right. Thank you very much.